Canada is so cooked. So on Wednesday, it was announced that thousands of Canadians, foreign immigrants, will be able to sponsor their parents and their grandparents from their home countries to come to Canada. So what that means for Canadians is that there are potentially going to be thousands of people coming into Canada that are seniors, that are requiring healthcare, that have also never paid into the healthcare system. So they are going to be using the healthcare systems that are already depleted and that are already failing the Canadians who are already in Canada and the ones that are paying for these health systems. So if you think healthcare is bad now, just wait another 6 months to a year when all these seniors have an influx into Canada, require the healthcare systems, and are using them as well. Thank you to the Liberal government, and thank you for the people who voted for the Liberal government. You are furthering Canada's complete decline.
Yeah, this makes no sense to me as an immigrant myself, because why would you allow like another country's aging population into your own country? Everybody knows that as we age, we start to develop more medical issues, right, that would require attention. And we already know that the healthcare system in Canada is already backlogged. Heck, just a couple of weeks ago, a teenager died after, I believe, what was it, an 8-hour wait long? He was waiting in the emergency room for 8 hours or so in agony, and then finally died. Actually, his parents are now suing, and they're asking for reform in the emergency room practices. So it's almost like as if it's tone deaf. It's almost like our government is not listening to us, right? Because how do you have a teenager dying in a waiting room and then the response to that is, oh, here, come on in, older folks from far and wide, come on in. And I don't mean to laugh. Somebody lost their teenage son. It's unacceptable, to be honest. And I'm not even one to make political commentary. As you probably know, I'm not like the most politically sound, but I can just read the news. You don't need to be BBC or CNN or MSNBC to really know that something is wrong here. And I feel like as if more Canadians need to be talking about this, because how do you have a population of people who have never paid into the system, not even one tax paid, and then they get to just roll in here and then enjoy the benefits? Like, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. And it's something that needs to be looked at under a microscope, to be honest.
I was born and raised in a small town just north of Toronto. I've been working since I was 16 years old, and now I'm in my mid-40s, which means I've been paying into taxes for that length of time. I worked for one particular organization for 20 years. And when I was let go due to corporate restructuring, the government provided me with 6 weeks of employment insurance. 6 weeks. I've been looking for a job for nearly a year.
So she worked for 20 years, contributing money into unemployment, and only got 6 weeks in unemployment. I don't know how true this is. I've not verified this before. But for anyone who might be in a better position to confirm, please hit us up down in the comments below.
We've been talking about how hard it is to find jobs in the service industry, but it's not just the service industry. It's everywhere. I'm a learning consultant, and if I didn't have children, I would run to another country and come back to Canada as a refugee with a different name so that I could get these benefits that everybody else is getting as newcomers. We have a problem here, and we seem to have forgotten that the government doesn't have money. It is not government funded. It is taxpayer funded. It is our money that we've been paying for years and years and years, and it's being given away to everybody but Canadians.
Preach, sister, preach. Because I love that part about how the government doesn't have money. It's actually our money. We have lots of abundant natural resources here in Canada, but somehow our government did choose to focus on our wallets and our pockets. They're always having their hands in our pockets, right? Here, look, that's my pocket. That's what I have. So people thought, what? No, I mean, they always have their hands in our pockets in Canada. And then they act like as if it's actually their money, but it's actually not their money. It's our money. So if they're going to be sending money for foreign aid, it's all well and good, but can they at least ask, can we at least have an opinion in the matter? Because it feels like a lot of times money is being spent and people are not even being consulted. Like, even not even hearing anything from our members of parliament, right? The guys with the here. We don't hear nothing from them inside of. I don't hear from them. Maybe they do talk to you. Do they talk to you guys? Do you guys hear whenever we're about to do a foreign aid? Do you guys get to vote about that? Do you guys get to air your opinions about that? Because I certainly do not. So when you hear the government giving out a bunch of all this money, a bunch of all this free housing to refugees that come into Canada, now I understand that refugees, they're probably coming here out of necessity because they're from a war-torn country and what have you. And I sympathize with that. But again, is Canada really in that position to do so much for these people when they can't even do for their own? Their own go without food, their own go without shelter. And Canada is a very harsh climate, especially in the winters. So is Canada really in that position to be doing for these people when they can't even do for their own with our own money? Now, if I were to have a vote in the matter, which I most likely do not, but if I did, and if they could listen, and I'm sure I'm not alone, I would rather that our money goes towards helping fellow Canadians get back up on their feet rather than helping people from other countries. But that's just my 2 cents. Y'all feel free to disagree or agree down in the comments below. Be sure to smash that like, smash that subscribe. I really appreciate that. It really helps with the channel. It really helps grow the channel. So I really appreciate if you hit that like, hit that subscribe. And until next time, peace.